Hi, this is Dr. Pachenik. Today I want to talk about the fact that I want the MIT Corporation to resign immediately because of the Epstein affair. What do I mean? I want Robert Millard, Millard, who is the chairman of the MIT Corporation, to resign because he knew very well who Jeff Epstein was. Robert Millard is a man who was involved with Lehman Brothers and made a fortune off of Lehman Brothers. And then he created a corporation called L3 Corporation. Now, as I have said before, he is one of the extremely corrupt Jewish Americans that we talk about. He did go to MIT. In a brief time, he had he graduated in 73. And he had been in architecture. But the point of fact is that he knew Jeffrey Epstein very well because Lehman Brothers had taken over L3 Communications, which is also intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, works with the CIA, works with the Mossad, worked with Epstein, and worked with a man named Steve Schwarzman, another corrupt Jewish American who went to Yale, but at the same time gave over $300 million to MIT for the Schwarzman Computer Corporation, or the computer institution at MIT. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because I believe that the president of MIT, Raphael Reif, who wrote a letter saying recently that we are sorry at MIT that we had this episode with Epstein, but it was only for 20 years and he only gave us close to $800,000. Well, that's not exactly true. Raphael Reif is not the most articulate president at MIT. He doesn't speak English all that well. He writes abysmally. His English is abysmal, and I think they should look it over. Number one, because he, like myself, he was born in Venezuela or Latin America, and he's a South American Jew like me, but unlike myself, he doesn't speak English, he doesn't write English, he doesn't really know any of the political science concepts or sociology or anything else other than being an engineer, which he wanted to make a living out of it. Number two was Susan Glassberg, who was also a Jewish woman, who was a lawyer and a vice president of the corporation. And guess what? She didn't know anything about Epstein either, although she was the lawyer and she had to do due diligence. Isn't that amazing? Then we come to a third person, a very mysterious individual by the name of Israel Ruiz, R-U-I-Z. Now, what makes him interesting is that his Wikipedia is not in English. Guess where he comes from? Where would you come from if you're not an MIT graduate and you're not born in the United States? Catalan, Spain. He's Catalonian. And of course, as you know, I've been near Catalan. I grew up in Toulouse. I grew up in Catalan. And I know very well that he does not speak English all that well. But he is the executive vice president and treasurer of MIT. But he is so arrogant that, in fact, he put his Wikipedia in complete Spanish. So what am I really saying? What I'm saying is that the MIT Corporation, consisting of Raphael Reif, Millard, Glassburn, Ruiz, and Schwarzman, and those who donated to MIT are all culpable. There's no excuse anymore. There's no way that anybody didn't know that Epstein was giving money to all of the institutions and all of the professors, including George Church, who met with him 5 different times. He's part of the MIT Harvard faculty, works on CRISPR. He gave it to people in the cognitive sciences, which are not mentioned by Raphael. He gave it to the Media Lab, where only 2 of the professors resigned, but that's it. And Raphael Reif writes, "Oh, we're so sorry this happened, and clearly it's a tragedy." Nonsense. You knew exactly that the professors at MIT have been prostituting themselves for money anywhere and everywhere they can get. And in fact, what happens is that the MIT Corporation, which is completely crooked now, acts as the pimp for the prostitutes who are called academicians. On that note, I want to leave you with the following saying. Joe Biden, the dumbest vice president we've ever had, said corruption is dangerous to democracy. I say Joe Biden and MIT is dangerous to democracy. Thank you and good night.